Here we are. This is our fourth and final summer video notes for Math 3 Honors next year. And there go my lights again. In this video, we're going to simplify radicals and use the quadratic formula. So there's two ways to simplify radicals, and there's the hockey stick method, and then there's factoring out a perfect square. So you're going to use a hockey stick method if you don't know your perfect squares or if the number's really big. So here's the hockey stick method. You start, it's really prime factorization. Do you remember that? So prime factor means you start with the smallest prime factor, and the smallest prime factor is 2. So we have 2, you divide 80 by 2. So what is 2 divided by, 2 times what is 80? 40. Yay, class. Okay. And then 40 divided by 2 is 20. And 2 into 20 is 10. And look at me go out of room. And we have 2 times 5. Okay, why is this called the hockey stick method? Watch. Watch what all the prime fact, we just did a prime factorization. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 is, oh, look at that, it's a hockey stick. For every 2 that are the same, 1 can come out. For every partner, buddy, they're in jails. They're in jail together and they're buddies and they're trying to break out. But when they break out, one gets caught and one gets away. So do you see these two 2's? For every 2, 1 gets to come out of square root jail. These two 2's, for every 2, 1 gets to come out of square root jail. Does the 5 get to come out? No, because there's only one 5. So he is trapped in square root jail, like that. So we have 2 times 2 is 4 times square root of 5. That's how you simplify the square root of 80. Let's do it with 612. See, that is really big. So we're going to go 2 divided into this. What's that? Half of 600 is 300, and half of 12 is 6. This could be divided by 2. 153. Half of 300 and then half of 6. Now, 153 is not divisible by 2. Is it divisible by 3? Do the digits add up to, what did the digits add up to? 3 plus 5 plus 1 is 9. Since 9 is divisible by 3, this is also divisible by 3. 3 goes into 15 5 times. 3 goes into 3 1 time. So 51. 51 is also divided by 3, divisible by 3. Let me think here. 3 goes into 30 10 times, and then 3 goes into 21 7. So is that 17? We can check that with the calculator, but I think that's it. So for every 2, 1 gets to come out. So the 2's have a buddy and the 3's have a buddy, but the 17 does not have a buddy. So the square root of 612 is 2 times 3 times the square root of 17, which is 6 times the square root of 17. Okay, so that's called the hockey stick method. You can use that any time you want, but you need to have these memorized. This is going to be our first quiz on our first block day. So you have to have your perfect squares memorized to be successful in math class now that you guys are almost grown-up mathematicians. So watch this. If you know your perfect squares, then you know 75 is equal to, what perfect square goes into 75? 25. So that's equal to 3 times 25. And we know the square root of 25 is 5. So this is 5 times the square root of 3. You're like, wow, that's much easier. Well, yeah, it's easier if you know your factors of perfect squares. So which perfect square is a factor of 44? 4. So we have the square root of 4 times 11 is 44. And now we know the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2 times the square root of 11, like that. 72. Let's see here. 4, 9. Careful because 36 is 4 times 9. So even though 4 and 9 go into 72, really because 4 and 9 go into 72, excuse me, 36 also goes in to 72. So 36 times 2. There you go. 2 methods. Quadratic formula. Do you guys have this memorized? First of all, is this a quadratic formula? No, this is a quadratic equation. And then to solve, sorry, why is it doing that? Okay, stop. Please stop. Okay, to solve a quadratic equation, we use the quadratic formula, which has a song. Did you guys know the song? X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I'm a really bad singer. That's okay. Y'all have your notes? You ready to go? Let's do some practice. I'm going to do as much as I can before the bell rings. Just kidding, before the video ends. Why is it doing that? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Stop. That's rude. Oh, it's all blurry. Stop. Okay, here's some examples. Now, what method are we going to use? 63. It's smaller than 100, less than, and you should know what perfect square factors into 63. Look at your list of perfect squares, and we should know that 9 goes into 63 7 times. So now we have 9 times 7 times x squared. And then you just scan. You go, scan. Which one do you know the square root of? Well, I know the square root of 9 is 3. So that gets to come out as square root, Jill. I don't know the square root of 7. It's in the calculator, so that has to stay. I do know the square root of x squared. Square root of x squared is x. So the 7 stays, the other square roots get to come out, and we get 21x times the square root of 7 is that final answer. Let's do another one. Now, if that's too big, we're going to use this hockey stick. Sorry. 2 doesn't go into it. Does 3 go into it? 9, 10, 11? Nope, 3 does not, because they add up to 11. So 5 goes into this number, 245. How many times does 5 go in? Can you see my margin? Yeah, doing a little division. 4, 20, 45, 9. What? You tricked us. Okay, 49 goes in. And we know the square root of 49 is 7 times 7. So where is this going? Let's go down here. Negative 3. Does the 5 get to come out? No. Does a 7 get to come out? Yes. Does the x get to come out? No, because it doesn't have, there's no second x. For every 2, 1 comes out. So the 5 is stuck in square root jail, and so is the x. Final answer is that. $196. Isn't that on our list? 196, you guys, is the perfect square of 14. It's 14 squared. So here we have negative 7 times 14 times, what do you suppose the square root of r to the 4th is? It's r squared. So we're done, but we need to figure out what negative 7 times 14 is. Again, here I am in my margin. Maybe you think I should know this, but it's been a long day. This is my 4th video today. 8, 9, 98. That does not look right at all. What am I doing wrong? Is it? Is it right? Okay, maybe it is. I'm going to check my answer. Ready? Here we go. Do I have time? Number 4 should be negative 98r squared. I did it right. It just felt like it should have been bigger. 7/14. That's okay. Any others? Any others you want to talk about? Do the easy ones. Look, 12, 4, something. All right, so that's simplifying. Is that it? This is just 2 pages? Oh, you guys got off easy. Okay. Solve each with the quadratic formula. Wonderful. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. To solve a quadratic equation, you must rewrite the equation by moving all the terms. Why does it say? By moving all the, to one side, setting it equal to 0. Okay, so this is a big deal. This is not ready to be solved for r. What's funny is that they don't use x on these, they use r. We need to move everything to one side and set it equal to 0. Are you ready? Yes, we are. R, you get it? 5r squared. Now the negative 8r is on the wrong side, so we need to move it to the other side. How do you move it? We're going to add it. So it's negative on the right and it's positive on the left. What about the 13? The 13 is positive on the right and it's going to become negative on the left. So that has to be step one. Otherwise, you're not going to get the x's and y's, silly, silly, silly. You're not going to get the A, B, and C correct. You're going to get their signs mixed up. Okay, you ready? By this level, my friends, you should be able to read the equation in your head and fill it in. You ready? Like this. X is equal to negative B, A, B, C, B, plus or minus the square root of B squared. What's 8 squared? 64. Minus 4, now I do this. A times C, I do write that out. All over 2A, 2 times A. So what's 2 times 5? 10. See that? We just saved a couple steps. So as you get older in math, you should be able to save some steps. I don't want to say skip steps because then it's probably confusing because the teacher says, show all your work. But you can always ask. Or just do what I do. What is 4 times 5 times 13? Well, 4 times 5 is 20. 20 times 13. Should we take out a calculator? I think you guys should use a calculator. Okay. But I'm going to show off. Just kidding. I'll probably make some mistake. 260? Okay. Plus. How did it become a plus sign? Negative in the negative. And this is all over 10. And I didn't leave enough room. My notes, this is like really big. So when you guys do it, you're going to do it itty bitty, itty bitty. You're going to go like this. And then you're going to go x equals. Okay. Or you can do it on lined paper. Here we go. Can I fit it down here? All right, I'm going to do 17, but I'm going to move into this space. You try and save room for this somewhere else, okay? Negative 8 plus or minus the square root. Now we add 260 plus 64, 324, all over 10. The square root of 324 is a perfect square. Do you guys know what it is? Look it up or use a calculator. Look, I'm gonna use a calculator, okay? It's been a long day. 18. I knew that, but I just wanted to show you how to use a calculator. Negative 8 plus or minus 18 all over 10. Now, do you remember what happens next? 2 r's. Oh, look at, I changed it to x by accident. Oh, but I only have it here. 2 r's means 2 answers. So I like to go like this. I like to draw an arrow. One answer is going to be negative 8 plus 18 all over 10, which equals negative 8 plus 18 is 10. 10 over 10 equals 1. And then the second answer is with the minus sign. Negative 8 minus 18. Oh my gosh, my work is not beautiful. Negative 8 and negative 18 combine to make negative 26 divided by 10, which would be negative 2.6. And I'm going to check my answers. What number is this? 17, 1, and negative 2.6. So 17. Oh, they left it as a fraction. I got all fancy and made it as a decimal, but it doesn't matter. If I were to reduce this by 2, I would get this. So woohoo! Okay, you guys are going to finish this. And that's it. That concludes our review. I wish you the best of luck. I can't wait to meet you on the first day of school. I know this was a lot, but I hope it wasn't difficult. Thanks for hanging in there and working hard, and we'll see you later.